Welcome back to my channel Conquer the Fear. In this video, we are going to discuss about top 10 tricky Java method overriding questions which are going to help you prepare your interview in a well prepared way. So if you are attending any Java Spring Boot microservice interview and in that if you are being asked about this particular tricky method overloading basics questions which sometimes be very tricky and confusion to answer, this video is going to help you with this confusing questions and how we can answer those particular tricky questions in this. So make sure you watch this video till the end. Now, without wasting time, let's jump into the actual code over here. Now, over here, I have written one Java program over here. Now, if you see, this is one of the class A, and class A has got a method show. Okay. Now, if you look at this is one of the void method which has got the class A. Now, if you see, class B is going to extend this particular A over here, and it is going to override this particular method. As we are talking about override, and this is also called as an dynamic polymorphism. Okay, so interviewers, this kind of questions are a favorite to the interviewers because this kind of questions confuse the interviewee and also sometimes they become speechless. Okay, so this is an attempt to make your struggle easy, and I'm trying to answer those particular questions and clear your confusion over here. Okay, so here if you see, this overridden method is written over here, okay, in this B. Now if you see here, what is the in the main method I've written this particular program. I have A of object created with particular instance of B. Okay, now can you tell me, when you run this particular program, what would be the output? Okay, I'm just trying to showcase you this particular full code in this one frame itself. Okay, just pause this video. Okay, and see what would be the output of this. uh, Now if you see here, there is four options which I have given over here. Okay, so the class A will be printed, there will be a runtime error over here, class B, or compile time error. Okay, tell me what would be the answer to it. I hope you have paused this video and try to write this particular code and see what is the problem. So out of these options, what would be the output? Let me try to run this particular program. Now you see the answer is B. Okay, why the answer is B? Because this is because due to the dynamic dispatch. Now overridden method is of class B, right, which will be the object of type, right? So it is invoked at the runtime. So the object type, based on that, it will be decided at the runtime. That's the reason it is calling here. Now let's try to see if there is no method. I'll just try to comment this and see what would be the output over here. This is just for your exercise. Now you see, as there is no method over here in this, it is calling this particular in this class A. So just tweaking this particular thing would clear your confusion. So practice is required. Please try to run this particular program at your end, see what would be the output. Now let's look at the second program. Now here if you see, there is a parent class, it has got a display method. Okay, now second, there is a child class, there is a, yeah, it is extending the parent. Okay, and it is again writing the display method over here. Okay, now in this particular method, if you see, I'm going to directly call this. Now just make a note, I'm having this particular as a static. Okay, now if you are aware of this particular static functionality, just try to see what would be the output. This is calling the parent dot display. Now can you tell me what would be the output? Just for your sake, actually I'm trying to show you the whole code. See here in one page. Now I will give you four options. What would be? There will be an runtime error, not quite. There will be a compile time error, or it will print the child static method, or it will print the parent static method. Okay, just pause this video and just think of it. Let me run this particular program for you. Now if you see here, this is going to print the parent static method. Okay, so why is going to print? Because parent methods are resolved at compile time only. Okay, so based on the reference type, whatever it is, it's not of the particular object type, so hence the parent dot display will definitely call the static method of the parent class only. Okay, let's look close this particular program and I will open the third program over here. Now I have an animal class. I've overridden the sound method of it. I've marked it as unprotected. Now animal is being extended as a dog, and then again I've written a public sound method over here, and it is going to be implemented over here. Now there is a static method over here, which I'm in the main method. I'm trying to have an instance created with the help of dog instance. Okay, and then I'm calling this. Can you guess the output over here? Now you must be remembering some time back we have seen that particular same instance with the help of class A and class B, right? So this is similar to that. At the runtime it is going to check that thing. So here it is, public message over here. There is an access specifier in the dog, right? So this is a valid stronger access modifier that is that is protected in the animal, right? So this is a valid access modifier, so it is allowing for overriding, and then at the dynamic dispatch it is trying to display this. Okay, I hope I was able to explain you properly. Let's look at the fourth program over here. Now here I have a class A. It has got a method that is private, and then I have a public method of call method, okay, which is calling this private method. Okay, again I'm trying to call a public method. A private method I have written for this particular B. Okay, so this is the same method which is written over here. So make sure, make a note that these are the private thing, and then again this I'm trying to do a sys out. Now here if you see the A instance of object, I'm calling the instance from the B. Okay, and I'm trying to call the method over here. So which of this particular method will be called up? Just guess the output. I'll just show you the full code at once, so that you can pause that video and see. Now what would it will print private method A, or it will print the compile time error, or it will throw a runtime exception, or it will print private method in B. The answer, let's run this and show you the answer. This would be private method A. Okay, so why? Because the private method cannot be overridden, as they are not visible outside their classes. Okay, so the method called within the class A refers to owns private property. Okay, that is the method. Okay, so that is the reason it is calling the A1 only. Okay, so hence what is happening over here is that this is calling this particular method over here, if you see. Okay, and it is private method over here, so that is the reason it is calling that only, and we don't have that particular method overridden in this particular class B, so that is the reason it is calling this particular one. Okay, I hope I was able to explain you properly. Now let's look at this particular fifth program. I have a base class, I have a get value method that is of type object and returning the new object. I have a derived class which is again get value and it is printing a string over here. Now make sure or make a note, one is object and one is string over here. And here if you see, there is, I have created an instance of the child class that is derived one, and I'm trying to call the get value of here. Okay, now tell me which one will be called up over here. A compile time error will come, a runtime error will come, or the hello will be printed over here, or there will be a Java lang object printed over here. Can you tell me what is the answer over here? The answer would be hello. Okay, let's look at the sixth program. Let me close the fifth program over here. Now here if you see, I have an inheritance I have a class over here created. I have a method over here. I'm printing a final method over here. Now this, make sure this is final, make a note, and then I'm extending this. Okay, now in this actually if you see here, the program I'm overriding over here, I'm creating the instance of b only over here, and the object also is of b. But here if you see, there is a commented code which I have written over here. Now I'm let's say I'm overriding this particular method. Okay, I've just commented it for some reason, they will get to know very shortly. But if I the question is, if I comment this particular method in the child class, what would be the, what would happen over here? Okay, so I have a class a method here written here, the final method, and then I'm trying to override this particular same method over here. If you are aware of this particular final concept, you will be able to guess this particular output. Okay, uh, let me uncomment this and show you. Okay, now you see here there is an overridden, so you cannot override this particular thing because method is overridden over here. Okay, and I am unable to compile this and the program will not run. Okay, so the right answer is you will get a compile time error over here. Okay, that's the reason I had commented it out just to showcase you. Let's check out the seventh program over here. Now I have a car vehicle. I have a run method implementation over here. I have extended the car using the vehicle one, and I have overridden that particular run method. I'm trying to run this particular over there, and then I've created this particular thing. Okay, tell me what would be the output over here. Again, the car is safely running because again this is something which is related to the dynamic dispatch, and the run method of car is executed as a part of that. Now let's look at the ninth program over here. Now if you see here, there is a class a printing, then I'm extending it, I'm printing the same method, but it is taking a different input over here. Either it was taking int and then here it is taking double. Now if you see here, I'm trying to call this one. Can you tell me which one it will be called up? And what would be the output? It will throw a runtime exception, it will throw, I mean, d double value or a double value or the compile time error. Can you tell me? Let me run this particular program for you. Now let's look at the last program over here. Now see, I have a base2 class, base2 method over here. I have created method 2. I have also have a base2 extended and then created a same method over here, which is calling the derived 2. So I am trying to return this particular instance. And then if you see the base class, I've just called this and I'm trying to get the name. Okay, so on this particular object, if you see, I'm trying to call the method I'm trying to get the class, and then I'm going to get the get name. Can you tell me what would be the output of this? You see here, this is derived to, because this will be the output of that, right? So this is because this is at the dynamic time, it is decided that it will be of derived to, and then it will be printing that. Please share this video with the needy people. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.